जय सच्चिदानंद कृष्ण भाई।
जय सच्चिदानंद।
2 मिनट कीर्तन भक्ति बुलाइए।
हाँ जी। हाँ जी, फॉलो करूंगा।
ओके। दादा भगवान ना असीम जय जयकार हो।
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 जय सच्चिदानंद। जय श्री दीपकान जी। कैन यू do 3 mantra please?
जय श्रीराम। नमो वितरागाय।
नमो
नमो
मित्राय।
वितरागाय।
नमो अरिहंताणम।
नमो
नमो अरिहंताणम।
नमो सिद्धाणम।
नमो
सिद्धाय।
सिद्धाणम।
नमो आयरीयाणम।
नमो आयरियाणम।
नमो वज्रायाणम।
नमो
नमो उपवत्सायाणम।
नमो लोय सवसाहनम।
नमो
नमो लोये साहुणम।
ऐसो कंचन मुकारो।
एषो पञ्चनमुखारो
सर्वपापनाशम।
सर्वपावपणासनो
मंगलाणं च सर्वेशे।
मङ्गलानं च सर्वेषि
परमं हवै मंगलम्।
परमं
परमं वै मङ्गलम्।
ओम नमो भगवते
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
शिवाय।
ॐ नमः शिवाय।
जय सच्चिदानंद।
जय।
जय सच्चिदानंद। Okay, we've been talking about Vyavasthit Shakti, doubtfulness, fearlessness, separation. The experience, Kashyapa, Lataben.
I'm continuing with the Pratikraman, and
Okay,
it will take time, but I'm continuing with that.
okay. So, every day there's always something doubtful or fearless going on. So, I don't know, we did not dwell on that. I'll tell you my experience. Here last week, we had hurricane coming, right?
Yeah.
So to our area. So of course, uh, we have to prepare for it in case this light goes away, in case water goes away. So, we were all prepared. Only issue is that we don't have gas. So we have electricity burners. So we have to prepare something in advance, like rotlas and all that. But then, people always start asking, hey, are you feeling? What is this? This? We just said, hey, we live to Dada. See what happens. There were a lot of people. Even Lalita Ben quite said, hey, how is everything? Looks very scary. Was from the pictures, but we just took it easy and said, okay, we'll see how it goes and what we face. there were some people in the community who were new, they were worried what to do and not to do. So we tell them, this is what you do. And worst come worse, we have a shelter which is about 2 miles away from here. In case we have to go to a shelter, then we can all tell them what to do and pack up and go there. We'll have to go. So, those kind of stuff always happens daily. So I don't know what my Mahatmas need to think about it, what they fear about, and what, how their doubt about, fear about, and what experience we go through weekly. So this is our experience. We are a little bit inward from the coast. We're about 30 miles inward. So normally we don't get the brunt of any hurricanes or anything. We get heavy rain and we have very windy. It's about, they predict about 50, 60 miles per hour wind. But, our houses are strong enough to withstand about 100 miles per hour plus. So that's why just want to share our experience that we were not that much anxious or worried about this. Of course, this is our 7th year, so we have faced quite a number of hurricanes going through that. So I don't know. Deepakanandji, you want to dwell on that fearlessness?
I can say that one factor of fearlessness is definitely there because of the other life science information and understanding what principle and what truth he has revealed. So that will definitely, pacify us in almost every situation. That is perfect. But here I would like to add, in the sense, if people, that is, all these government people tell you that everyone is moved. The instruction is everyone have to move into that. What is that called? What you said? What that place
They
called?
have different
Shelter.
They have different zones,
Yeah.
and those
Yeah,
they
yeah.
said, hey, these zone people must leave your home. Okay, be
Yes.
careful and like that. So, yeah.
Correct. Correct. So if that instruction is there, then you must not stay at home. But that was not your case. So you stayed at home, and yes, it is very common thing that when such a natural uh, disturbance come, then people definitely have a lot of fears, and we can also experience what we used to have before acquiring this jnana, this vision. So it is quite obvious that others will definitely ask such questions. Isn't that very scary? Are you not afraid of, and whatnot? But here we have known the science, and the best thing is our trust in Dada Bhagwan, his science, and the natural science what Dada Bhagwan has revealed. So with that, and considering all the other information, or rather I would say evidences, we know that we are not going to get affected unless it has to happen. And we keep our fingers crossed. In a way, we are ready for any eventuality, but that inner fear, that scariness is definitely not there. And we remain quite at peace with stability and perfect inner happiness. And we also see that this doubtlessness which we have been graced by Dada Bhagwan with the right understanding and understanding of the third Agnya, the third precept, which says that the world is operated by this natural cosmic power of Vyavasthit. So, with the trust in Dada Bhagwan and the science what he has revealed, that this is the truth of life and the world. So, with this understanding, we very easily can remain, and we do remain. Why I say can remain? If someone do not analyze the situation and analyze or understand the situation based on this vision, then he or she can also have this carriness, fear, and that can come. So both aspects are definitely there. See, and fearness, carriness is very common with ignorant people who is not aware of the science, and equally one who is blessed with this vision also, unless he remains well connected and when understands the science. Jai Sachidanand.
Yeah, and also, there are all the other stuff. I just gave this gross bill. And, you always go through plan A, plan B, and plan C,
Correct,
depending on the
absolutely.
whether I was doing it. But there are other instances, that we come across everyday life, like, my right knee is paining a lot these days, and I gone to the doctor a couple of times, and she said, Mr. Patel, you don't have to worry. You in good health. That's arthritis. I said, hey, it pains this thing and this thing. Don't worry about it. So, and then finally it was paining. So I called her. She said, oh, go and take an X-ray. So, you have then say, hey, what will come out of the X-ray? So those kind of things, the question come. But again, you have the faith that, hey, whatever is going to happen, just take it easy. And you go to the doctor, they take x-ray, and then fortunately, he says, yeah, you're arthritis. So you don't need to have any surgery or something. But, this kind of stuff always is going to in our everyday life. So, so we need to again analyze it. And if you're a little bit uh, calm inside, and then you can handle it pretty good. This is my experience. So, Pulinanji, you want to dwell more on that, or?
Yeah, a little that I could catch in was you were talking about fear, and I think something about that cyclone stuff. So I was just looking at it from the Gnan point of view. Basically, fear. Who is the culprit who generates the fear? It's the buddhi or the intellect. What will happen, and it starts showing the loss. Fear is generated when you see there is that some loss is going to happen, or some pain, or discomfort is going to happen. So first thing is fear is generated by the intellect. You see the people who are not having an active intellect. I'm not saying they don't have intellect, not very active, it's okay type. So they're not bothered. They're not bothered. They don't have this fear syndrome. you know. So this is identifying who in from the Antaskaran is playing this part, number one. And then the solutions to that. Solutions are various. First thing is application of the third agna of Vyavasthit, that nothing will happen other than what is written or destined in Vyavasthit. Vyavasthit nibar kai nahi tha, as we said in Gujarati, nothing will happen outside Vyavasthit. So that is one way of reining the active intellect which does pop up during such things. It is natural for it to happen. I'm not saying it is wrong, but then now we have to look at what's happening in file number one and how to find a solution to that. So one is the possibility of using Vyavasthit. And if you go on a still higher order of awareness and separation, if possible, is even that loss, pain, or whatever will happen to whom? Whom say? It will be that of file number one. And I, the pure soul, is not going to be affected, will not be affected by this. The separation part is the higher order of solution in case it does pop up at that point of time. Lower down, in spite of telling that nothing will happen out of this, then the, as you said, remedial measures and plan A and plan B will be in operation. That this happens, we'll do this, or if this doesn't work, then plan B, we will do this. here that is fine. And in spite of telling when the buddhi and or the mind is on hyperactive mode, or there is worries, or there is anxiety, in case, then to stop this mental chatter of the mind, thoughts of various types will come, mental chatter of the intellect will start showing pros and cons, is, you know, surrendering to Dada. Dada, I surrender this to you. Please take care. And then, how do you stop the mental chatter? You can chant Kirtan Bhakti, Dada Bhagwan JSS, or the one can say 3 months. So once we start this, the mental chatter will automatically cease, and we will spend that much amount of time, the time from from when we know the issue, in this case maybe a cyclone, till the cyclone passes away. That time period passes away peacefully if we engage, our mind and intellect in this Kirtan Bhakti of three. So those are the working solutions for this thing. Then coming to the second experience that Rajnibai was sharing regarding knee pain and doctor and X-ray and the diagnosis of arthritis. So when such thing happens, first thing is a global understanding, which all of us beyond 60, I tell people, after 60, the guarantee of body spare parts are over. Like you buy any device, TV, laptop, anything, it is a guarantee period. So body spare parts over, whatever, any part can give trouble any point of time, a knee or an eye or ear or tooth or whatever. So understanding that. And Dada Bhagwan once mentioned, at one point of time, Dada Bhagwan had started malish, oil massage, and afterwards was to do that oil massage with a Kansani Vatki or Kansa, I don't know what is it. What it's an alloy in English, whatever, combination of brass and copper and something. It's an alloy. And it's very useful. So every day massage was done. And then Dada Bhagwan said that when a building becomes old, it requires repairs. For any old building or old structure, it requires repairs or corrective action. So he was referring it to his body, and it has aged, and the body requires repairing and separate. So a general understanding that as we age, some part of the body will keep. There's a likelihood something will happen. So we are ready for it. We are ready for it. Oh, this has happened, fine. And then how do you tackle it? From the waiver point of view, as you said, seeing the doctor, taking the X-ray and all that stuff. And from the non point of view, say file has come up, they say this knee pain has happened. File has come up, give me the strength to equanimously square up this file, and then carry out what the instructions, like X-ray, arthritis, and then the corrective action in terms of medicine, exercise, diet. So this is the Gnan and the Vyavahar perspectives of handling health-related fears and other fears of external elements like cyclone or some. In our case, we had heavy rainfall last month in Vadodara, in Gujarat all over, but Vadodara was very severely inundated by floods, which was not there so far in last so many years. So in such cases also, this is the way we can manage the external situations, fears with JSS.
Okay. Jai Sachidanand. Kochabai?
Yeah, JSS Apt, can I ask one small doubt?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a minute. I will see.
I hope, Mahatmas, you're thinking about while Kochabai is asking question, Mahatmas, please think about what we've been talking about, that how we go every day with doubtfulness and fearlessness. Thank you.
This Dadavani 2022 February Pudgal Shakti Ma Pote Fansayo. It's I will say in Gujarati and then also in English also written. આખો સંસાર જ પૂતગલ છે પણ પૂતગલમાં રાગ દ્વેષ થવો એનો નામ બંધન ને પૂતગલમાં રાગ દ્વેષ ના થવો એનો નામ મુક્તિ. પાંચમાંથી ચાર ઇન્દ્રિયો એક પક્ષે વિતરાગ છે જ્યારે સ્પર્શ બંને બાજુ રાગી છે. બંને મિશ્ર ચેતન છે જે વધારેમાં વધારે નુકસાનકારક છે. બંનેમાં વિતરાગતા હોય તો છૂટે. સ્પર્શમાં વિષય વાસના આવી જાય. It says 4 of the 5 senses are vitrag, free from attachment on one side regards to one of the two parties involved, whereas the sense of the touch makes both parties involved prone to attachment ragi, and there is the presence of the Mishya Chetan, living person, which is the most harmful of all. If there is vitragta, total absence of attachment and abhorrence in both the parties that are involved, then one can become free. Sexual desire comes under the sense of the touch. પૂતગલની પોતાની એવી જુદી જુદી શક્તિઓ છે કે આત્માને આકર્ષણ કરે છે. એ શક્તિઓ જ પોતે માર ખાધો છે ને. આત્મા છે તે પૂતગલની શક્તિ જાણવા નીકળ્યો કે આ શું છે, આ કઈ શક્તિ છે. હવે એમાં એ પોતે જ ફસાયો. હવે શી રીતે છૂટે? પોતાના સ્વરૂપનું ભાન થાય તો છૂટે. The Pudgal has its own various energies which attract the self. It is due to these very energies that one has taken a beating, isn't it? One is the self, yet he went out to know about the energies of the Pudgal, inquiring, what is this? Which energy is this? So one got himself trapped in it. Now, how can one become free? One can become free if the awareness of one's own self arises. So here in the Gujarati also, you can see English also. So you can please explain this, that I want to know that about the, it says that about the in the 5 indriyas, that 4 are of one side, and it says that 4 of the 5 senses are vitrag. This I want to understand. And one is on both sides. This also I want to understand. And also I want to understand this this Pudgal has its own various energies which attract the self, and they take a beating because of the how they take the beating. That I want to understand. Please explain this point.
Deepakanandji?
Jai Satchidanand. See, first of all, Dada has talked about the 5 senses, out of which 4 are impartial. The touch sense is very sensitive. And when we have talked about Atma, that is the worldly being, it refers to the worldly being, not the pure soul. First thing is that. And it is said that this coming together of people or things is very common in the world. Now, in that associated state, in that connectivity state, if you remain, if you have that attachment, that is liking or disliking, then it causes new karma. But if you remain separate, then in a way you can say, if you remain indifferent, then you get liberated. So here, very nicely Dada has explained that the touch sense works on both sides. Both the sides. That is, there is liking and disliking side both, and it is very sensitive. So if one gets, what do you say, one gets realized, then only he can win over this effect of likes and dislikes, because he will be very much into it. And when he said Mishra Chetan, why it
What
is
is
called that,
four of the
that
five?
as person?
Four of the
Ah,
five senses are vitrag on one side. Only one party is vitrag, other is not vitrag. This I want.
no. On one side means out of those five, four are on one side, that is, it is Vitrag. Whereas the fifth one, that is touch sense, is not like that. You
Okay,
understand? On one side, you understand?
okay, like that.
Ah. And why it is called Mishra Chitan, that we try to understand. In one's ignorant state, what one says, I did this, I did that, and on the other side, the person also says, yes, I know. So it is mixture of knowing and doing of one state. It is mixture of doing and knowing of one state because of ignorance. That's why it is called Mishra Chetan.
Yeah.
So that Mishra Chetan is having likes and dislikes. That it is not Vitrag.
Mm.
Did you understand that?
Yes. And
Ah.
it says that
So
if both parties are vitrag, then only they can be one can be free.
yes,
બંનેમાં
in
વિતરાગતા હોય એ તો છૂટે.
well, now what is this? Just bring it down. Banne means that the sparsh, the touch sense, and the Mishra Chetan part.
Mm.
You understand?
Okay.
These are the two things which needs to remain separate, to remain indifferent
Okay.
or impartial. Right?
Okay, like that. Okay.
And it is like, it is out of Dada's grace that we get dissociated or separate from the activity part of our body self, that is body self which is full of activity, that is physical activity, mental activity, and speech or verbal activity.
Right.
Because we get separated, that Mr. Chitan part becomes very well aware that I am pure soul.
Mm.
So he gets separated from the activity part and remain well connected and identifies himself or oneself as pure soul that one is. So when this thing happens, then one gets free. Is that clarified?
Yes, and the next what he says, Pudgal પોતાની એવી જુદી જુદી શક્તિ છે કે આત્માને આકર્ષણ કરે છે.
Atma means that the worldly being.
Worldly being, yes. Is there
The worldly being gets attracted. I mean, his inquisitiveness, that what is this?
Okay.
And because of that power of the body self or the matter, we will say, Pudgal means matter. The power of matter is very complicated. If you try to go into it, then you feel that I'm trying to find out exactly. I'm trying to analyze. I'm researching, but it is such a complicated thing. It is only capacity of the Vitragas or the absolutes who have known this baton of knowledge from other Vitragas, and that's how one becomes Vitrag. But if one tries to do with self strength or self knowledge, in a self means individual knowledge, thinking that I will try to analyze things, because our vision is only worldly, it is not beyond world. What I mean, our vision is very well bound within the periphery of doership only. Unless you understand the doership aspect of the matter, how it is uh, having its own power, and that power which comes into the matter is out of the projected doership. That projected doership cannot be eliminated by one's own self. That's why when one tried to investigate and search, analyze the matter and its power, it ended up in making atom bomb, and that brought disaster.
Yes,
Because
sir.
human brain and human intellect is not that balanced. It is more selfish. So for self-protection, they use this disastrous power of matter, and they use that bomb on people itself. So unless we come across Vitragas or the absolutes who have well understood this whole matter and our true pure soul self in totality, so they never meddle with the matter, and they
Well,
always remain separated, in a separated state, kept observing how the matter which was charged or caused because of uh, projected doership is playing out its role, and with that awareness or with that enlightenment as I am pure soul, uh, one perceives the whole outcome of the matter, due to which one has to pass through suffering of liking and disliking type, but he remains separate and he passes through the karmic effect and gets away with it totally without fresh doership projection.
got
He understands how the matter works, what was the cause of this activity in its root, and that's how he remains separate and experiences separateness and frees himself from the obligation of the matter, which is
right.
compulsory suffering which one has to pass through. Okay?
Got it. Yes, got it.
Okay.
Jai Satchidanand.
Pulinanji?
I think most of it is all covered up. So there is nothing much to add over here. It's fine. That, as he said, Pudgal Shakti, wherever Atma gets get attached, what is this, and that it gets trapped, which can only be freed when one gets the realization of who really one is. That's all. And the other things are all explained, so then nothing much to add. Yeah, fine. Yes.
One more thing I want to ask about.
Just a minute, I would like to add just one more thing, that man, that is human, they have mistakenly identified their intellect as the highest strength, and out of that selfish thinking, I will say, they go and get involved into the matter, and the matter then catches us. We get trapped into the matter, and then the outcome is compulsory, mandatory. You have to pass through that suffering, and that suffering is not that easy. We can understand this Kali Yuga time of suffering because it is outcome of very dangerous egoistic projection, and
Yes,
it is only possible through grace that one gets blessed by that divine vision, one gets to know who he is, and once initiated into it, it definitely ends in absolute or total liberation. Jai Satchidanand.
yes,
Okay.
I got it. One more thing I want to ask. This Dadaji says that all these are temporary adjustment. This is not permanent adjustment. What is the meaning of adjustment? Actually, I didn't understand. Temporary, permanent, I understood. But why this is adjustment? What is meaning of permanent adjustment, temporary adjustment?
Pulinanji?
Just a minute. Pulinanji, before you say what Dada has said, all these relatives are temporary adjustment.
Yes, all
Okay,
this
now,
related. Yeah.
Pulinanji, go ahead.
Temporary adjustment, yani these are situations which arise and part because all the six eternal elements are in a constant state of flux, in a constant state of motion. So they will come and part, they will come and go, they will come and go. And the worldly situations that we see, for example, rainbow, that arises because of this, the sun and the clouds and all that stuff. Eclipse, for example, that also arises because of particular situations of the earth, moon, sun. So same way, all the six eternal elements are in a constant state of motion, and uh, various things arise. So it's just an adjustment in the sense that this is just an avastha, it's just an situation which is
Mm.
temporarily arisen and it's going to go away. The rainbow will go away, the eclipse will go away. So from that viewpoint, it's a temporary adjustment. That is what is that.
And permanent adjustment, what is the what means permanent means that it is permanent means
It's not
it,
a, it's permanent basically. Adjustment to take it has rhymed with that sentence.
yeah.
Only it's not permanent. So you are
Okay.
permanent in the sense you or the Atma is unaffected by this, with the external situations. That
Okay.
is
Because yeah, Dadaji is using just rhyming adjustment and
uh,
adjustment
uh,
permanent.
uh,
Okay, got it.
you can remain a permanent, you can, or one can make it a permanent adjustment in the sense an enlightened Mahatmas like us, if we remain anchored in the pure soul awareness, so then it's an adjustment. We are being anchored by way of Purshat into the pure soul awareness that I am the pure soul. So that is a type of Purshat or a type of adjustment, which is a permanent adjustment. That is, you are in your permanent state, the permanent self. You are in the permanent self that you are. So in a way, that could be considered as an adjustment. The Purshat could be considered as an adjustment that you are taking that adjustment of being in the pure soul and freeing yourself from the influence of the external situations that are taking place in the Pudgal or the surroundings of the Pudgal or file number one.
Mm.
So in a way, you can say that is the permanent adjustment, Pushat or anchoring yourself in the pure soul, or standalone way, the pure soul otherwise is unaffected.
Mm.
So that is what I understand. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And
Deepakanandji, you want to add?
Yeah,
I
yeah. See, okay, Pulinanji, go ahead.
this is over, but in hindsight, one thought came to me, but it was related to the previous question raised by Dr. Kashyap, regarding that Pudgal and the five senses. It says the apart from the sense of touch, sparsh, the remaining four senses are ek pakshi vitrag, one-sided vitrag. Now, I have a feeling one of the interpretations that just comes to me, it just comes to me, that we could consider it that, and this is not with inert things or things like a table, chair, or anything, but supposing with the person is involved on the opposite, I am one side and another person on the other side. Now, one-sided vitrag would be, say, let us take the sense of touch. I'm sorry, the sense of vision, eyesight. The other person may be very well dressed. So I, the Mishra Chetan part, may get attracted. It's from one side. The other attracted to me. That he has, sprayed a good perfume. So my nose sense may get attracted. One-sided rag, Other person may not get attracted towards me. And so eyesight, nose, hearing. He may be singing a good song. I may hear it. I might get attracted. The other person will not get attracted. So that way, these four senses are one-sided. I may get that, other person may not be involved. But when the sense of touch comes, when I touch the other person, both of them are affected. Rag can take place, means they will have attachment or abhorrence, whatever it is. But both will get affected. And an extension of that here is called Vishay, where that sexual arousal could be take place. Yeah. So this
Yeah.
was, I felt that the second interpretation of this one side could be, I could have that effect, the other person will not have effect. For inner things, it is obvious, that a stone is there. I may get attracted. Oh, what a beautiful color, what a shape, size, Stone has nothing to do with it. But if I extend that logic to a living being on the other end, other side, then the four senses are one sided, may be affected, may not be affected. The other person's senses will not be affected. But when we touch, then both are affected, by rag or by dvesh. This is a thought that just came to me, so I thought I'll just share it. I don't know what Deepak notes.
Touch, we have to be more very careful.
When Vishay comes in touch, and touch is the only, and then as an extension, Dada said, as a different example, that there is a lot of heat in the summer, then we feel like putting on the fan, and the fan, the cold breeze, it touches our body, and we feel and nice. So the sense of touch is a subject of extra pusharth, because there getting engrossed or entangled is a strong likelihood. Handling the other four senses is relatively easy. Is the thing that Dada Bhagwan wanted to put across. JSS.
Yeah.
Deepakanji?
Pulinanandji, very good. Very good analysis, and very nicely what Dada has said, how it involves two parties, means two individuals. And because of the involvement of two individuals with a common that liking or disliking part naturally would emerge, and which end up in differences, very serious differences. Whereas the other four senses are one-sided in the sense it doesn't have involvement, direct involvement, and experience individually. It doesn't bring into picture two individuals together at the same time, because that experience is independent. But here that experience is in common in relation to touch sense, and especially into sensual pleasures. So that is where maximum level of passion, that is likes and dislikes, emerge, and it ends up. I remember what Dada had said. This sense of touch is so sensitive. Even if one doesn't want to cause new karma, it ends up causing new karma because common factor is there, and there are two individuals. That's why in all path of liberation, this factor of purity and what do you call that? I will say like celibacy or Brahmacharya has its value, because involvement is of the two-person, senses, and the factor of happiness is in common. So that's very good, very nicely explained. Okay, the next part, what was that? Just can you please remind me? We just went into the previous question.
This was
After this, you raised one question. After this.
The next one. What was the question? Next question.
the next one was of permanent adjustment and temporary adjustment.
Okay. Now I got it. See, again, relative by its very nature is temporary.
This one I will stop sharing.
Yes, you can stop sharing. Yes. Relative by its very nature is temporary, and it is changing, temporary and changing. So depending on the outside situations, you must have that factor of adjustment to get along with the situation or get away from the situation. And if that adjustment is not there, I will say with what Dada thinking and analysis, that all these relatives are temporary adjustments. In the sense, it will demand adjustment when you are dealing with individuals, because dealing with individuals means dealing with the body self, and body self is relative, body self is temporary, body self is changing. So in the changing world, if you don't have this factor of adjustment, you will end up in a clash only. And clash means opposite side liking and disliking, which ends up in causing new karma. If that involvement is there, and if you don't have this factor of adjustment, you will definitely end up in causing new karma. Whereas permanent is permanent. And that permanent aspect or permanent part of our being as pure soul that we are is having that knowing power. The faculty of knowing is there, not the faculty of doing. And it remains as it is forever. There is no change in that. So that's how that all these relatives are temporary adjustments, and we must have that factor of adjustment to free ourselves from that situation. Jai Satchidanand.
Yes, Sachin.
Just, just
Okay.
in line with
Later,
that only.
go ahead, the Pulinanandji.
In line with this only, we otherwise have been doing it. Only Dada Bhagwan has spelled it out in so many words. For example, we are driving away from, say, home to work, or going on a long trip vacation from city one to city two. At times we encounter a traffic jam or something. So we take a different route or take a detour or something. So that's an adjustment. Because of some external situations, we have adjusted. If too much of heat, this thing, then we come out with going. Supposing you have gone for a vacation on the beach, too much of it, then we take an adjustment. We put out sunglasses, that cream, and then umbrella and all that. So we do adjustments. So all of a sudden, then rain starts. Then we do an adjustment of going back to the shelter. So otherwise, also we have been doing these adjustments based on the external situations which change. So Dada Bhagwan has extrapolated that into a general principle that his entire world is full of movement. All the elements, internal movement, various situations will come, and it's a matter of getting adjusted to that situation, because the situation arises and it will go away. Because situation per se is of a temporary nature. So relative means temporary and changing. So because everything is relative and temporary, so you also just adjust yourself. Like I have to go out, but there's severe downpour of rainfall. What do? I wait for the rainfall to go away. So same way, Dada Bhagwan says that you have been traveling across many life cycles, across many births. You have been adjusting, and in this birth also, there's a beginning. You have been born. There's an end. You will going to die. So in between, many situations will arise. Just adjust and peacefully pass away. In the sense, without rag dvesh, without attachment, abhorrence, peacefully pass away. To remain in that vitrag state or state of without adjustment, don't get into clashes, and for that you take the adjustment. So that is one of the ways that we have anyway been adjusting, but now this Dada Bhagwan says adjust for the sake of avoiding rag, dvesh, attachment, abhorrence. So we adjust that way, and you are the permanent adjustment. You as the individual, for us Antaratma, you adjust yourself into your permanent soul. You adjust yourself into your permanent self. That means you come into the awareness of that I am the pure soul. Then you will be unaffected by the external things. So that is a real adjustment, and this is the relative adjustment. That is one of the ways we can also look at this statement. Yes, Sachin.
Yes, Sachin.
Later,
Jai Satchidanand, Deepakanandji and Pulinanandji. And my question is regarding today's sutra. Dada has said that અમે શોધખોળ કરી લે કે જગત આખું viewpoint થી જુએ છે, viewpoint માં શક્તિઓ નકામી જાય છે, આખી જિંદગી બેસી રહે તો સામાનો viewpoint બદલાય તેમ નથી. Sorry, broken Gujarati. But, my question is, it's so appropriate to the situation in the Middle East today. I was just looking at some news flashes that you spend a lifetime, you can't change anybody's opinion or viewpoint. What are the anteceding factors that make it so set in concrete or cast iron that it just won't bend? That's my question. Is
Deepakanandji?
it rag and dvesh, or is it we just refill that same viewpoint?
I didn't get. Can you come again?
See, that today's sutra is that.
Can you bring
Dada's-
that sutra, please? I mean, what is that sutra?
Oh, I don't know how to do that. It's
No, but what is that?
185.
Where exactly did it come? I was trying to look
It
up.
came today. And it's number 185.
Where has it come?
It's come in global satsang group, JSS.
JSS Global.
I don't see anything in JSS Global.
Oh, yes. There should be a lot of him.
Okay, is that this that there's nobody in this world who can give you even the slightest unhappiness? Is that the one?
No. हमने शोध खोल किया है कि whole world works on viewpoint only, and energy is wasted in viewpoints. Even if one sits for a lifetime, the other person's viewpoint doesn't change.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Where has it come?
Is it the calendar?
No.
Yeah. No, it's not the calendar.
No, it's not the calendar.
It came, I think, was it 1st October? Yeah, today's thing. You have to scroll to the top of the.
Oh, these are
today.
later man 185, right?
Yeah. Can you bring it up?
Yeah, okay, let me see.
What is 185?
That's the number of the
Sutra number.
Okay.
હા અમે શોધખોળ કરેલી કે આ જગત આખું વ્યૂ પોઈન્ટ થી જ જુએ છે વ્યૂ પોઈન્ટમાં શક્તિઓ નકામી જાય છે તો સામાનો વ્યૂ પોઈન્ટ બદલાય તેમ નથી ઓકે what is the question basically?
The question is, what makes this viewpoint so set in concrete that people are unwilling to change their viewpoint? Is it rag and dvesh, or is it other factors, or what is it? I mean, why is it so rigid and so set in concrete? I mean, I was just looking at this Middle East situation, and they've spent so many lifetimes not changing each other's opinions.
You see that everybody is ego based, na? Everybody is ego. So that because of ego, they feel they're right. So obviously that becomes strong. And number two, it's a development issue also. You know, the human beings have been developing, na? The least
Right.
developed, then gradually, I'm finally coming to India, the human being, where the Indian understands rebirth and
Right.
doership. So it's a development of the individual. So with a little lower development and a hardened ego, they feel that they're right, and others are wrong. And then again, they are preached that way based on the scriptural this thing, no? Wrongly, of course. No scripture of any religion teaches violence, really speaking, violence to human beings. Even in the Quran or Bible or whatever we take. That it has never been there, but then it has been wrongly interpreted, and then they have been preached or taught by the spiritual elders. So one is the preachings that they receive from others, one is their ego, and one third is their development. They are unable to comprehend anything beyond what they know. So that is why it is a very hardened viewpoint, and they feel They feel okay with it. They feel comfortable with it. And that reminds me one small thing the other one said, like soldiers, in the line of duty, they die in the war or during any protection. And then the widows are, and then the wives become widows and things like that. Now the person, the soldier, for us, we feel, that the fellow is serving the country in, say, terrible cold
He's a martyr and he's a hero.
in snow, for example, or then in severe harsh weather conditions, and then he dies. And then when somebody's while he's fighting the enemy, and then he's very aggressive in fighting. He gets badly injured. He doesn't feel bad. For us, we get little injury, we feel so bad. Then Dada says that his mindset and development is such that he doesn't feel bad about it at all. Bad about he getting killed or bad about he killing others. Now that is his development. And every country needs people of this type of development, because as you will not have soldiers. You need soldiers, you need artisans, you need doctors, you need engineers. So nature has provided soldiers with that mindset where he doesn't feel bad. I feel so, I feel pained at his pain, but he doesn't feel the pain. So I'm just trying to share an understanding that what development really means. So he feels nice in killing and getting killed. No harms, nothing wrong. So same way, this is a development in the evolution of mankind, in the evolutionary path. This is his development where he is very much fixed. He has a limited understanding. He has a limited understanding of the situation. That is what Dada Bhagwan said, that everyone has a viewpoint. We discovered that the whole world looks through a viewpoint. So his development as development is basically how much of the spiritual or soul light that has emerged from the covering. Atma કેટલો અનાવરણ થયો છે, કેટલી શક્તિ ભૂલી છે. Development is nothing but that. So because only limited spiritual light or soul light has emerged, he can only see that much. He can only understand.
I get that. What about us? Like Dada is talking about people in India, uska viewpoint badalta hi nahi hai. You can spend a whole lifetime. Is that also development?
Yeah, that is also development. See, a Swaminarayan will be hardened Swaminarayan, a Muslim will be hardened Muslim, because that is his development. Only that much of light has emerged. He has not got higher understanding where he can appreciate other religious viewpoints, other people's viewpoints, other people's belief systems. As a person evolves, he has an development of empathy, development of understanding what others are trying to say. That development hasn't taken place. So he has only limited vision. He looks only through that vision, only through the glasses, and he can only see that much. So Dada says, if he cannot see something beyond, why are you wasting your time and telling and showing him something which he anyway is not going to be able to see? His development is not taken place. So ego plus development, I think, is what results in that hardened viewpoint, as the term you used.
Okay.
And I use it for the whole lifetime, because for the entire lifetime, he has brought that much of dravya karma, if you can use the technical language.
There's no give. There's no give at all.
There is no
give. No, what should I say? Flexibility.
There's no flexibility. He can't, no, because he can't see.
Yeah.
His vision is limited only to some extent. So obviously, he only that is right, and that's all. There's nothing beyond that. Same way. So that's all. Like, if the modern scientists, for example, astronomers, for example, they will only see the sun, moon, solar system, and some galaxies. They can't see Mahavidya Kshetra. It's only Dada Bhagwan, the enlightened, after that such a thing exists. Heaven exists. Yeah. So now how can I convince the scientists? No, there is Mahavidya Kshetra, there is heaven. I cannot convince, because it is not developed. So he said, you'll waste, and don't waste time. Even for the entire lifetime, you do anything, what will happen? Dada Bhagwan said, Bill Clinton, that means he was the president at that point of time. Even if he sits with me the entire lifetime, he will not understand, because his development has not taken place. He doesn't understand rebirth. So Akram Vignan is not suitable for Akram Vignan. So one sits for a lifetime. So it's a matter of the development, how much vision has opened up, and little bit of ego. Ego is there, not there, no? Then that little flexibility is there. Okay, let me understand, like try to understand. The trying to understand will not be there, because if he has a hardened viewpoint based on his development, not his fault. It is not his fault now. Only that has been unveiled. Only that much of Atma has been unveiled. So obviously he's going to see from that point. A dog will just behave like a dog, no?
Right.
Limited. That means dog means any animal who has a limited development of the mind and limited development of senses and everything will operate only from that viewpoint. So, or a lion or anything for that matter. From that point of view, his viewpoint will not change, even if you sit for a lifetime.
So it's if development and ego, not necessarily rag and dvesh that's building it up.
No, development and ego. Rag and dvesh should be supplemented because that is supplemented in human beings by the elders. It could be elder parents, teachers, spiritual masters, whatever. Environment.
Right.
That will take place. That will take place.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Deepakanji, the time is
go ahead.
let's take so on, then you can both take together. Okay, so Deepakanji, so
Jai Sachidanand. Deepakanandji, you said one thing for Mr. Kashyap's question, that if regarding the touch, if someone doesn't want to make bind karmas, and if the other person has feelings for you, then even if they don't wish, they will bind karmas. So is it relevant with the husband and wife relation, even if both of them, even if someone one person see their partner as a file?
Yes, you may see that as a file, but that is why that I have said, when both are willing and that involvement is there, then it's fine. But still, because two individuals and happiness in common, it ends up in differences one way or the other.
So
that is why he had. No, a question of no ignore. No, you don't have to ignore that. Before involving, utter the sixth diamond. After involvement, do pratikraman.
Okay, so so that way we don't bind karmas.
No, it is at least it will be with a boundary. It will be with a boundary. You understand? And with the vision, why it is said to give a word of caution that don't involve yourself with that freedom. Always keep in mind this factor, because imagine, when is it possible when both the parties are ready?
Even if only
not
when
there.
both are,
It is not there. And when both are ready, only then Dada said that you have permission to involve yourself. But that doesn't happen. And many times there are claims from either side that it was not always that I wanted, but I had to involve myself. And that pain or that discomfort or unhappiness pinches the person. So don't worry about that. This is part of your karmic effect. Understand that as your file. Before involvement, do the sixth diamond. After involvement, heartily do pratikraman. So you will get away with your vyavahar also, with your worldly responsibility, and at the same time, when you have done pratikraman, that is, you have corrected yourself, eventually that will subside.
Okay, yeah. So that's why for the complete realization, you need complete Bramhcharya.
That comes. Otherwise also it comes. Dada has said, last 15 years of your life, Lord Mahavira was a householder. Krishna Bhagwan was householder, Ram Bhagwan was householder. Ram Bhagwan attained liberation. Mahavir Bhagwan attained liberation. Rushabdev Bhagwan had 100 children. He attained liberation. You understand?
Yeah.
But we don't understand what was the frame of mind with which they involved themselves into this. You understand? And we can't really reach that state. But with this understanding, we can gradually come out of it.
Okay.
See, let us say this environment doesn't give birth to an offspring all the time. So that is why that factor of uh, willingness will never be there all the time, that both are willing.
Hmm.
You understand? So don't worry
Yeah.
about that. Play your part with this preparation and correction at the end.
Yeah,
Pulinanandji,
I
you're
will
saying
follow
something.
that. Yeah.
Pulinanandji, you're saying something. Then I'll talk about the other question what Lalita Ben said.
हाँ नहीं बस ठीक है see that is there for all relations even that husband wife there are extra expectations basically we are one
Right.
so that expectations leads to all this expectations there in any relations even father son or mother son also relations are there expectation also there but they are not so strong as much in a husband wife expectation because the concept of Isha is also there. So never mind. This is what this is all preordained. It's part of Vyavasthit. Only you have to lay out your part and remain as much separate as possible. Have that desire. Automatically things will fall into place.
Yeah.
Without
So
getting angry.
got it.
Without getting angry. Don't get angry. Don't need to
Yeah.
get angry.
Okay. Okay. So,
Yeah.
okay,
Jai Satchidanand.
Deepakanandji, you wanted to talk about
Yeah. About that. See, first of all, every individual in this world, without exception, except these people who have got realization who they are, all of them are egoistic. And egoistic means their primary belief, as Blunder what Dada has said, that is lurking all the time. So because of that ignorance, they have bunch of viewpoints as mistakes. Primary viewpoint as I am so and so is always there with everyone. It is only we who are very fortunate that we have reached the center as I am pure soul, which is in a way a viewpoint, but it is right viewpoint against, right belief against wrong belief that I am name bearer. But with that footing, as I am pure soul, we, the best part, we are very much, we can easily understand our viewpoint. We understand the other person's viewpoint. We adjust with the other person's viewpoint and still remain in the center as I am pure soul.
Correct.
Did you understand that?
Yes.
Because of my pure soul state, which I am graced by Dada Bhagwan, which is center of every existence, I am able to understand my viewpoint. I'm able to understand the other person's viewpoint. I'm able to adjust with the other person's viewpoint and still remain in the center as I'm pure soul. So I get away with my worldly dealing. In presence, I'm not changing the other person's viewpoint, but I am able to adjust with the other person's viewpoint without clash, and I still remain in the center and amicably pass away with that interaction or with that, that situation. So here what Dada said, that don't try to change the other person's viewpoint. Adjust with their viewpoint and get away with it. Otherwise, you will spend all your life to change the other person. Then finally, Dada said, I understood that only I have to change. I changed myself and everything got settled.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what. Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Okay, of his time, yeah. So, Pulinanandji, can you do three mantra, please?
Namo Vitragay.
Namo Vitragay.
Arihantanam.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Jnanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Vajayanam.
Sayanam.
Namo Loe Sawa Sahunam.
Namo Loe Sabba Sahunam.
Eso
Eso
Panchanamukaro
Panchanamukaro
Savabhava Panasano
Svabhava Panasano
Manglahanancha Sabvesim
Manglanam cha Sabvesam
Mangalam.
Paramam Havai Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Shri Deepakanandji.
Jai Satchidanand. Jai Satchidanand. Deepakanandji. Jai Satchidanand.
Dr.
Jai Satchidanand. Jai Satchidanand Mahatmas. Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
By Deepakanand.